Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil Code Veronica X. In the last part, we continued exploring the Antarctic base as Chris, finding ourselves in a relatively familiar looking place in the process, looking like the old Spencer estate, and got some information on the T-Veronica virus, but now that we have the crane key, we can come back to this room where the sorter was initially as Claire, and use it.
Who could have done this? Alexia.
That is how I dispose of insignificant bugs, said the spider to the fly. How do you wish to die?
Alright, I kinda lied about those one set of spiders being the last spider in the game. The giant Black Widow here is, and it's another boss fight you can just outright ignore. Because you can come over here towards Nosferatu, grab Alexander's piece, or Pierce technically, and grab his jewel to have 2 of the 3 keys we need to progress onwards in the game. Now, if you decide to fight the giant Black Widow, it's not a very hard fight, it's just a bigger one of the spider enemies. You can physically attack you and spit acid at you to potentially poison you. The big thing is, like the smaller spiders, if you shoot it enough, it's, I forget if it's the thorax or the abdomen again, can explode. And when that happens with this one, several babies are released, so be careful. I just recommend ignoring it, because if you just grab that Pierce and you've grabbed everything else throughout the rest of that part of the base as Chris, you never need to go back there again. So, I can just ignore it. With that said, we have Alfred's jewel, we have Alexander's jewel. You could see Alexia's jewel in that cutscene, though. It's around her neck, so we're just gonna need to figure out something else to do until we can figure out a way to get that from her. Now, our next goal for progression is actually a couple rooms back. The room where I've just kind of gone straight across to the door right in front of Chris whenever we enter it 2 rooms ago now. Heading towards the cameras are goal there, because now there's some key items we can grab in there, as well as a door we can open now that the power's on. But it's here I actually spend a while doing some inventory management, because I have to think about what I want to do for a moment here. But we actively want to bring the Magnum with us for the first time around, because we're closing in on the first boss fight I think that's worth using against. You could theoretically use that against, say, the giant Black Widow, but I don't think it's worth it just because of how much health it has compared to the amount of Magnum ammo it would take. Plus, if memory serves, I want to say that spider is also T-Veronica infected, so you can't use the BOW gas rounds against it. Same with the next boss fight. Grenade launchers we're going to use for our main weapon for a little bit here, because I feel it's better used here than the shotgun is. The big thing to watch out for is in this room. You can even hear the footsteps a little bit. There is a poison hunter just kind of wandering around. Just wait for it to approach you and then grenade launcher it. Hope it doesn't do the jump slash, because at that point it's kind of hard to counter, and hope you don't get poisoned. While there are some herbs in here, you can see the 2 items we really want to grab glowing on screen just then. There's another wing object there just clearly on the floor, as well as something in that weird little urn in the middle of the water. It's like the one time I can think of in this game, if not like the series proper, they just put like the key items next to each other like this and not spread across a wide area. No, I say that, but Resident Evil 2 Remake does this sort of with its chess pieces for that one door. But they also turned that door into a proper puzzle in the remake compared to the original game, where it's just use the 4 chess pieces and then you're good to go. And when we enter this door, it looks a little bit familiar, to put it bluntly. The other room's not the only room right out of the Spencer estate. I guess they really like George Trevor's interior design philosophy. I think you can also use the gems we have so far right here, because this is where we're supposed to use the Alfred jewel, the Alexander jewel, and eventually the Alexia jewel. I just don't, because I figure maybe it's only worth using later on. Now we want to head up here, because up here is a combat knife. You might wonder why they put a second one here. it's in case you don't have the first one anymore, to be completely blunt, because it's one of the few required uses of the combat knife in the classic games. Otherwise, it's really just like those occasional like vines towards the end of Resident Evil 1. As behind the staircase is Claire. She's fainted inside the cocoon. I need some kind of tool to open it. And I should note, if Claire got poisoned by Nosferatu during that fight, after you free her, you then have to go find the serum. It's in the same room we got the Magnum, just before where the fire was. So you need to go all the way over there and back here within, I think, some sort of time limit. It's pretty easy.
Claire.
Chris! I missed you so much.
I know. But we have to get out of here.
Not yet. We have to find Steve.
Who's Steve?
He's a boy who escaped from that island with me. But then a monster attacked us and we got separated.
So that means Steve is still somewhere in this base?
I'm sure of it.
It's Alexia!
Alexia? There really is an Alexia?
It is almost time, you genetically inferior siblings.
After her! She might know where Steve is.
Let's go.
Chris!
No! Just go. I'll be fine.
But Chris...
You've got to save Steve. Go!
And thus, we are able to play as Claire, one final time in the game. Anything she had in her inventory at the end of her scenario early in the disc, she will once again have, including the custom handgun, the assault rifle, the sniper rifle, whatever she has. So in the case you gave her a lot of the weapons, you can now store them away for Chris, because you're going to want them on Chris more than Claire. By and large, the weapons you're going to want to have on Claire for this portion where you play is really just maybe a full clip of her custom handgun. The more important thing to give her is ultimately 2 near max healing items, like a triple green or a red green combo, something like that, as she can take some damage here pretty easily. Now, this room is also the main reason why I stored away the shotgun, as like in the Rockport Island as Chris, there is a place you can put the shotgun to open up something secret in this room. And this is also the reason we stored that Duralum encasement when we got it, because you don't get a lockpick again until here. And I think if you didn't do the lockpick side, or the lighter side quest as Claire back on Rockport to give Rodrigo the hemostatic, I don't think anyone ever gets the lockpick, or maybe Chris gets the lockpick. I genuinely don't remember how that works out, because I think I've only done one playthrough where I didn't save Rodrigo with the medicine. But as you can see, Magnum ammo in there, yeah, that's pretty key. Unfortunately, we can't give that to Chris right now, but he'll have it for later. Now, compared to just getting the shotgun from the first object like this in the game, I believe all this gives us is some flame rounds and grenade rounds, yep. But still, that's pretty useful, because the grenade launcher is a relatively high ammunition weapon at this point in the game if you've been relatively, not stagnant, conservative with it. And I could recommend using that in some regards. In fact, that could be a weapon to give Claire right here if it wasn't for certain other things in the game. If you have acid rounds, I'd actually recommend giving, just storing it away, period, and saving it for Chris. If you only have, like, grenade rounds or flame rounds, maybe give it to Claire. But again, that will require the foresight of knowing that this section's about to happen, which on a first playthrough, it's probably not unless you die. Keep moving in this room, by the way, because more tentacles spawn, and they can surprise you and just hit you out of nowhere. Ultimately, I gave Claire the assault rifle in this section, as when we lose control of her, we're not going to have access to her inventory for the rest of the game, and losing this, I feel, isn't too big of a problem. Plus, I don't have to worry about reloads. I have more than enough ammo if we went to go get that one assault rifle clip earlier on during the Chris scenario. It's probably her best choice of weapon besides maybe the handgun. I could recommend taking the handgun, honestly, overall, just because you'll have more than enough handgun ammo at this point. The big thing is Claire doesn't have to face many zombies. Or enemies, period. There's those 2 tentacles, and I think this zombie, maybe another zombie, if you decide to go up the staircase at the end of this hallway. And that's about it. The big thing we want to do as Claire is investigate what's underneath this cannon here. I think actually the zombie in that room to my right, that cell to my right, also can wake up. Security file. The Ashford family's most important secret is kept at this lab. As a safety precaution, I have installed a self-destruct device in the control room and have placed the activation code inside the computer. Once inputted, all door locks will be released to provide easy access to escape routes. By using the elevator that directly connects to the hangar, one should be able to escape from the lab easily. Please remember that I have used the name of my beautiful ancestor for the activation code. Glory to the Ashfords. Alexander Ashford. Keep that in mind for later. There's a handle. Turn the handle. So that also triggers that torture device right there. And our goal is to take this crystal and smash it beneath that. So you need to get beneath it and then quickly place down the item and get out of the way. If you're underneath this thing for too long, I do believe you get instantly killed, so be careful. Yeah, I believe the zombie, that body in the cell to my right at the moment, can also become an enemy if you go in there and grab those bow rounds. I don't think it's worth it at this point, as the bow gun itself can still be useful, but mostly if you convert whatever ammo you have into bowgun powder explosive darts, because those can still be pretty useful, especially against the final boss. I ultimately don't use them against the final boss, but they can be useful against that. Now that we got the security card from within that crystal, we want to head in here to this very empty room. A card reader. The security lock's active. Use the security card. The iron grid's down. Might open with the card reader on the right. I guess we can't see anything through there. Now, something I forget if this game does compared to other classic Resident Evils. If you do move faster when you want to equip a weapon, unequip a weapon.
Steve?
Oh, Claire.
No, I can't do it. Who did this to you?
That crazy woman told me she was gonna perform the same experiment on me that she did on her own father. She's completely insane.
What's wrong?
Claire! Can't breathe! Claire! Help me!
No, wait!
We got a short time to get to the end of this hallway before that door closes, and Steve absolutely hurts. 2 or 3 swings can put you down to danger, no problem. Bring some fill heals, otherwise this is a dead game location.
Claire!
Oh, Steve.
You're warm.
Steve, you've got to hang in there, okay? My brother's come to save us. We're getting out of here.
Your brother kept his promise. I'm sorry, I cannot.
What? What are you saying?
I'm glad that I met you. I love you, Claire.
Steve? Steve? Steve?
At last, I found you, Alexia. Come with me. You're responsible for the creation of the T-Veronica virus. And now the only existing sample is in your body. I want it. Now!
Wesker sounds like such a
You
child
want
there.
it? You are not worthy of its power!
You're coming with me. Chris! Wesker. Chris, since you're one of my best men, I'll let you handle this.
Alright, Alexia is a very dangerous boss fight. This is why I packed the Magnum, as she can go down within a clip of it or so. Her main attack is to whip her blood all over the place and light on fire, but whatever you do, don't let her touch you! Because if she grabs you, she immolates you and you're killed instantly. I think it takes at least 3 to 4 shots no matter what, but I think because I was too far away or I wasn't exactly the most accurate with some of my shots, I ended up using a full clip. But now that she's dead, we can grab her jewel right over there. I believe that cutscene, by the way, is different in the original Code Veronica, just because of the added cutscenes for Wesker here. In the original game, Wesker just kind of gets his ass kicked there and doesn't even notice Chris, I think. But now that we have all 3 gems, we can open that painting at the top of this room. So let's go use that where they need to be used. I'll talk more about Steve's ultimate fate next time because I have my thoughts on it, but oh boy. Some people are very happy he died. I'm very neutral on his character overall. I think is the best way to summarize my thoughts. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 16, we're going to start approaching Endgame. See you guys then.